Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. It's my pleasure to welcome you to session 9D. We have Adi Hod here. He's an entrepreneur. He's also an MIT grad. And he's joined by his colleague, Tamara Usher, and we're going to walk through the session in which we're going to talk about empowering secure data democratization, harnessing the potential of GenAI and LLMs for digital transformation. Over to you, Adi.
Thank you very much. Good morning. So actually, forget about the title. I'm going to speak about data security. The practice of collecting and harvesting data is a big business, as you know, is millions, trillions of dollars per day and growing. The problem with harvesting and collecting data, mostly with harvesting, is that during this process, data is lost, is stolen, get leaked. People that do not have the right permission manage to see the data, and so on. And this imposes quite significant risks on organizations, actually on us as well. Because when you're collecting the data and you're harvesting, you're also liable to the data. You're liable in front of a regulator, in front of your colleagues, and so on. The only way, or the way to ensure that this process is safe and secure is what is so-called the data security platform. I want to show you today how Velotics, a startup company that I built, started in Tel Aviv, now it's a US corporation, I would like to show you the product, Velotics Data Security Platform Solution, how we use generative AI. Obviously, we're using top-notch technology. Especially, we must use the generative AI. If we'll have time, I'll speak about it later. How we utilize generative AI to present the most innovative and advanced data security platform in the world. So I founded Velotics in Tel Aviv. It's my fourth company, and raised over $30 million already to build this solution. It took me about 2.5 years to build the solution, and recently we took it to the market. Data security platform is a terminology presented to the world by Gartner. The first version that I built with the Deutsche Bank, we call it data plane, so some kind of a surface that control governance data. And relatively after a short amount of time, you can find Velotics almost all over the world. So we operate in Singapore, one of the biggest banks in Asia Pacific already using Velotics. It's OCBC. We operate in Europe. Obviously, in Europe, there is a very high attention and an acknowledgement about privacy and security of data, even a little bit more than the US. So we operate in Europe, UK, US, obviously. At some point, we flipped the company. Now it's a US corporation with several subsidiaries. And surprisingly, we have a significant traction in Africa, in South Africa. We can talk about it later. You can see some of the logos here. At the beginning, we started with the FSI market. Why the FSI market? Highly regulated, multinational, subordinate to multiple regulator. And it was quite obvious that this is going to be the first market. It's not an easy market, longer sales cycles, but we gradually expand to other markets. And the technology is patented. We have one of the first patents in the world in accessing data in data security platform, granted in Israel, in US, and in Singapore. And as I said, recently we started to utilize generative AI. One of the most important competitive advantages is that we approach the problem from the policy part. I will explain a little bit later what is policy, and not just traditional methods. Having said that, we must use deep learning technology. So we started as standard machine learning and deep learning technology, and now we move to the generative AI. Why do we move to generative AI? Obviously, it's the advantage in using this kind of technology. It's a disruptive technology. Again, it's a different session. If we'll have time, we can talk about it. But companies that are not going to use generative AI will not survive. This is the essence of disruptive technology. And we can see from time to time, going back maybe 100 years, how disruptive technology evolve, and organizations that did not embrace or manage to embrace disruptive technology were not able to survive. Like I can give some examples like Kodak, mini mills, steel mills, car manufacturing in the US, and so on. Obviously, as a software solution, data security platform is a software solution. We rely a lot on channels and partners to launch our solution and sell it and implement. One of our strongest and significant partner is Slalom. Slalom is a US corporation, and I have here with me one of the best generative AI knowledgeable lady.
Thank you. Yes.
Tamara.
Hello, Tamara Usher with Slalom. And what's great about this partnership is that these things are hard, right? So, when you have this innovative technology, the data security platform, and the new ways of implementing it, our clients are going to get the most out of it with that advisory, with that help to make sure that you're successful, you know where the challenges are, and you can move past them quickly. So I think that's what's great about this partnership.
Correct. So we'll go through a little bit. This is a different technology. Yes. So we'll talk a little bit about what is generative AI, just for the sake of the terminology. It's a buzzword. Everybody name drop it, but there is really something behind it. There is really coding that exists behind it. And the way that we see in Velotics generative AI or artificial intelligence in general is basically a tool, right? It's a technology. I don't sell technology. I sell the product. I sell the value. I sell a job to be done, a job that needs to be done, and I sell the solution. Or technology for us is just a conveyor. By the way, everybody speak about technology. So the way that I define technology is the ability, the transformation between labor or capital or resources into a product or services. So this is technology. And disruptive technology, when we say disruptive technology, is only about doing the same or applying the same type of technology, but in a more efficient way, cheaper way, more affordable to everybody. And from time to time, when an organization or a company present disruptive technology, you could see that the related world is shaking and changing. And as I said, companies that do not embrace it cannot sustain. The way we see artificial intelligence, for me, is a technology that enables automation. That's all. With all the buzzwords and nice things, I need something to automate, to do something that people did or is doing right now manually. And in order to secure sensitive data, maybe I need 10 people or 15 people to check for the sensitive data and then to apply some kind of rules to mask the sensitive data so it will not be exposed. And maybe you need 5 compliance people and 10 R&D and IT. And I want to try to use something that will expedite the process, and the machine can do it instead of 10 people. I can use one machine. Obviously, also there are hundreds of variables that relate to the data security platform or secure sensitive data. And I need somebody to do it fast. And I need somebody to have sufficient amount of knowledge and experience to apply the right methods, the right rules, the right and so on. And apparently computer can do it. Now, artificial intelligence is not new, right? It's something that you could see from 1950 something. You could see papers in the university from 1980. People spoke about artificial intelligence and machine learning, but only now technology, computers, all the parts converted together, and these kind of methods can be practically applied on computers. And all of a sudden, we have machines which can actually operate as human being, right? When you explain to a little child what is artificial intelligence, and you find yourself talking and explaining what does these things do, it sounds to you like you're explaining some kind of a person, very smart person, very knowledgeable, some kind of a huge brain, can answer any question, any minute, does not get tired, but it's still some kind of a person. And this is how we use it in Velotics. This is how we see it. And Tamar, how do you see it in Slalom?
I think it's great because it's a new time, and I think that there's a new mental model for generative AI that is different than the ML AI of the past, right? It's a bit less deterministic and more probabilistic. I think that the automation plays are definitely the ones that will yield the most value, but learning to do this in a way that is integrated and augmentative to us is the part that's challenging. I think that that's also the part that is incredibly exciting as to what we can do with this together. We have a metric here that GPT 4.0 is about $15 for 1 million tokens of output. And it's estimated that the average human thinks at about 150 tokens a minute, which is funny to think about. When you look at that and you look at then what is the hourly cost of your AI agent as a part of a workflow, it's 10 cents an hour. So the ability to integrate intelligence into our workflows, create the tools that give us more power and control of our data is going to be at scale, incredibly efficient and incredibly inexpensive, and a huge augment to the knowledge that we're bringing. So it's really exciting time.
Great. A little bit more about generative AI. So, we already spoke about artificial intelligence as actually something that automates what human being can do. So again, maybe terminology point of view, but with a little bit more insight. So generative AI is the same type of automation, but with a machine that can generate new content. In data security platform, for example, as I said, we apply rules, restrictions, maybe GDPR and so on. But we need in computers to convert these restrictions that comes from the regulators or even from compliance manager or the way people work, we need to convert them to digital transformation, to digital entities that I can apply. So the way to read, for example, the documents and create new rules in the system is generative AI. Obviously, there are many other examples from different sectors. I can generate new picture, I can generate new music, I can generate new differential decisions. It relates to medical decision. And so generative AI is about generate something new that was not exist before. Obviously, you need to train the machine in order to be able to generate. This is a little bit tricky, and here comes here you can see some of the problems, because we want to predict something, right? We want to predict a pattern, we want to predict a nice music or so on, but there is no data on the future, only on the past. So how exactly you can derive from the past something about the future? In order to predict the future, I need models. The combination of the model and the history of what I've seen in the data, like training the model, can create something new. But it's not necessarily right, so it's some kind of a probabilistic game. Foundation model is generative AI model with different type of generation. I can, in data, for example, I can check or generate or secure structured data and unstructured data. Structured data is text. Unstructured data is either text which is stored in files or can be also pictures and so on. LLM is large language model, is actually the method to train a system on huge amount of text. And LLM tools, it's what we do in Velotics and what you can see now growing all over. Organizations and entities build specific LLM model for their purpose. We in Velotics, we build specific LLM models which is the brain that knows everything about data in your organization. You can ask this brain whatever you want about the data. You can ask Velotics whether I had a GDPR violation last week. Who accessed my sensitive data? Who can see unmasked credit card? This LLM tool in Velotics can tell you everything you want to know and you were afraid to ask. You can now ask Velotics and we will give you instantly, promptly the answer. And this is a trend you can see all over the world. Bringing these tools, personalize them, if I can say so.
Questions are the new answers. I like to think of that. Machines now speak our language, right? So to be able to, ask these questions about your data security layer, about the data that you have access to be able to get those answers, so quickly in natural language, that's what's amazing about what these LLM tools are bringing, is they are now speaking our language instead of the language of code. And so this just democratizes that access. So that makes us all have a security posture that can be that much more improved.
So what's the problem tomorrow with if it can answer everything? So where's
having
the
right questions.
Where's the trick?
Yes. No, I think this is the opportunity for humans to get better, actually. I've already found, we all know that through prompting and these kinds of things, you can get, average answers, you can get great answers. So that's the questions are the new answers. So, it's now our time to bring clarity and specificity to the way that we will communicate with our data, with our systems. And I think it'll actually make us better at communicating with each other too. So that's kind of an exciting future to think of.
Exactly. What Tamar just mentioned relates to something that is called prompt engineering. How good you ask your question. So it ends up that the limitation of the generative AI is not the generative AI, is us, is our ability to ask the right question. When you play with these machines, obviously the well-known is ChatGPT, try to ask, you are looking for something, so try to ask different questions and maybe even try to educate the machine. So provide some information to this machine, which will get better and better with time. I know it's not great right now in some sections, but providing the information, asking the right question, you will all of a sudden get much valuable knowledge from this machine. And we can see it in the data security platform as well. Managers and data owners that would like to retrieve information and experience from the conversational data security platform that Velotics provides. Obviously, we can see, we spoke a little bit about disruptive and I just mentioned in one sentence disruptive technology in the past. We mentioned, so we will skip. And so who's going to win? People or machines?
It really depends on, how well that coexistence can occur. I think that's the opportunity right now is, as we're working with machines more and more, that we're able to, extend ourselves more easily. I think that, right now we feel, incredibly separate from the digital world, the machines, the things that we're working with all day. I think that integration and becoming closer to our AI colleagues is going to be the thing that's going to ultimately make us successful. I think that there's a transformation here as well that we can't quite imagine yet. There's, I think, a lot of really creative and innovative human work in the future that is going to be much more exciting than the toil of today. So I like to make the comparison of the invention of photography. And in the invention of photography, the portrait artist and artists at large were quite concerned, with the loss of work and, what is the future of art? But if that moment we could imagine the future of art being Dali or Picasso or that transformation, we would be much more excited about it. And I think this is what's coming for us as well.
I just want to know if my car will be able to drive me by itself to work.
Probably better than a human. I think this is the mental model too, right? Like just getting more, thinking about data and more of the, analytical literacy that we need to really, understand our bias in how we're thinking about, say, autonomous vehicles and whether or not they're safer than human drivers? And well, the answer is yes, of course.
So there are, the world is a little bit divided right now, yes or no. But for sure, something is going on. And maybe this is just an example of, I don't know if you drove a semi-autonomous car, but you can feel the interaction between the machine and the person when you use, in general, a generative AI-based or artificial intelligence-based machine. The interaction between the man-machine interaction is highly important, not just because this is the only way to operate them right now, it's because there is a very low level of trust in organization when it comes to using solutions like data security platform that embrace and utilize generative AI. Nobody wants the machine unanimously decide what to do. You want to be involved, you need to be involved. So building data security platform, it was essential to create the interaction point, including the machine to enable the ability to explain. You will see in a minute in our data security platform when we decide in Velotics what needs to be masked if a person is seeking to see table or a file, not necessarily the machine will take this decision, the final decision. There's going to be an interaction, and the machine is going to explain the user why it took this decision and not other different decision. It's a half time?
20 minutes left.
Okay, so we are going to skip to the first movie.
I know we're all excited to see the platform in action.
Okay, as you could see, I'm not very good with timing. Tons of slides. Never mind. Oh, I have a. Okay, so this is the data security lifecycle. This is actually how you secure data in your organization, how you should. If you don't do that, you should. You should come to our booth and see how we do that, and it works. And it's about 4 main pillars. It's about, first, I want to know where and what kind of data I have and which data is sensitive. You must know it before, and you have to tag it. You have to create the classification. Then we will build for you the data protection policy. Policy, it's all the rules, regulation, legislation that you need to apply on data, privacy, security, GDPR, CCPA, whatever needs to be done, never needs to be enforced. Then we have a self-service portal. People can just browse everywhere, and they have metaphoric glasses with Velotics chip, and whenever you touch something that you specifically not supposed to see, we're going to mask it for you on the cell level, not on the table, not only on the table, not only on the file, on the cell level, on the line. And then we monitor everything, we govern everything, we find dark data. We can speak about dark data later. And we can tell you what is going on with your data in your organization. This is data security platform with Velotics. Let's see the first movie that describes a little bit about how it works.
Welcome to the Velotics Data Security Platform. Your data's journey starts with discovery. Velotics analyzes your databases to locate and classify structured or unstructured data. Velotics automatically tags data types, making it searchable. Easily amend the auto-tagging process to suit your organization's needs by adding a custom auto-tag. Now, utilize your classified data. Create a project and select the relevant tables or files for access. Our powerful search engine empowers inquiries across your data infrastructure at a fine-grained level, saving you time from searching through disparate sources. Anyone can request access effortlessly, and our configurable workflow handles approvals seamlessly. For data approvers, Velotics' AI engine suggests which data protection policy and privacy-enhancing technologies are appropriate, all aligned with your regulations. Our AI learns from your approval or denial, improving future requests. Velotics understands that change is an inevitable part of business. Our platform automatically detects organizational changes, like department transfers or new hires, and proactively adjusts permissions, ensuring continuous and automated monitoring for seamless security compliance. Velotix offers a proactive approach to data security as we continue to monitor and alert you of anomalies in permissions or policies. Our permission heat map offers visibility into the permission landscape, ensuring access permissions are aligned with usage. Our policy control tower offers a centralized visualization of data protection policies, streamlining the manual and complex process of policy enforcement. Velotix allows you to discover, visualize, and use your data while remaining secure and compliant, enforcing the right policies so you can grant access to the right people in a prompt and secure way. Velotix, unlock the power of your data.
The nice voice belongs to the lady that left. She was working with us in Israel, Lily. Let's talk a little bit about the discovery. I want now to go over and show you some examples of how we are utilizing or using generative AI in Velotix, and I'll go through some of the functionality. So it's going to be very practical, not high-level fluffy. And you will see how it works, how it actually works. So we spoke about the first phase, right? You are a data owner, you're a CDO, you're a data manager, and maybe you are using 30 or 20. Normally in FSI, you find between 10 to 40 different database technologies, maybe Snowflake, Cloudera, Teradata. You maybe have also data catalog, one or two, like Cloudera and whatever. And you need to understand what kind of data you have, where is the sensitive data, what is sensitive data, and you need to tag it and classify it, because if you do not do that, then you can't do anything with the data. And we also aggregate the catalogs, because if we have several catalogs, we want to bring everything to one place. So we have our own catalog, but usually it's not our forte, so we will integrate with any existing catalog that we have. And if you have several, we will bring them into one platform so we can watch everything from one place. And let's see, this is a screen that once we discover or we crawl the data for you in any type of database that you have, then we will provide an observation about where's the sensitive data and what is sensitive. So you can see, for example, one of the drives that we scan, and we found, we score it, like 82, score 82, never mind the calibration right now. And then you can see a visualization that in this drive, as a personal drive, about 40% of the data is sensitive, because we mark it as red, level 5, and there is a little bit of data which is not sensitive. And we also count the number of files. You can see that we already scanned 30% of this database, and the database is in England, and so on. So this is an example from unstructured data. Now, how do we scan unstructured data? This is contextual or semantic auto-tagging, and we use it in unstructured data because in order to identify sensitive data in files, we are handling the unstructured, as I said, it's not tables, it's a text that is stored in files, and we need to read the file in order to decide what is sensitive. So let's say that we define that a credit card number is sensitive data, and it's going to be level 5. So basically, the mechanism is reading using NLP methodology. And if you already know how LLM works, it's basically the statistics. Which word is going to follow the sentence or the previous word, statistically speaking. And then we identify that this specific word is a credit card number. This is an example of contextual auto-tagging. We identify the data and we tag it, that we're using NLP methods to be able to identify, tag, and classify unstructured data, meaning files. Discovery and auto-tagging is a probabilistic method, meaning that we are crawling the data, And we try to identify that this is a name, and this is a family name, and this is a birthday, and so on. How do we know that? Unstructured data, I just show you that we can read actually and use the contextual NLPs. In a textual file, in a structured file, there is a way to use dictionaries. But as I said, it's probabilistic. So maybe we crawl your data, and 30% of the data was not recognized. We were not able to tag it. So remember we spoke about interactions. We want to automate the process. It's all about automation. But statistically, we cannot, we may not be able to find everything. And here comes the interaction. So I'm asking the user, this data I was not able to identify or classify, help me out. And there is a box that is open now, and the user will help me with the structure. So there are some instruction, and you will basically tell me that this is a new type of credit card, and this is the format. And once you click OK, Velotics learn, and from now on, we will identify this new structure. This is an example of how the machine interact and enable to improve the process, the automation. Second, I will speak a little bit about what we call the policy. I told you that policy is maybe one of the most important approach. In data governance in general, not only in data security platform, you have to be able to define and apply central mechanism, central policy mechanism that you will be able to apply on sensitive data or actually any process that you would like to manage. We call it the data protection policy, and here we basically in the policy, by the way, it's not one policy. We started to work with UBS in New York. They have 360 different types of policy. Each policy comprises from maybe 100 to 200 type of rules from different type of sectors. In OCBC, they have about 200 different type of policy relates to different type of regulators, different type of organization, different type of departments, and we centralize it. We start by scanning what they have, build it in one data protection policy, and now we need to continue to maintain it, to build new policy, new rules, to delete old rules, to keep the versioning. Everything is done with our deep learning methods. I will skip for the sake of time. This is, for example, a way to present. This is a control tower. Here you can see everything that you need to know about your policy in one shot. You can see here that I have in this organization 77 policy that include 112 rules that we slice and classifies them to 12 different groups. And you can see that our system using deep learning methods identify conflicts between different policy because you are subordinate to GDPR and CCPA and maybe to others, to SEC, and you might find yourself dealing with contradiction rules. So the system is able, using patterns, to find the conflict between the rules and alert to the relevant people in the organization. Now you access the data, and people, as I said, moving from files to file, from database to database, and it's all self-service and it's all open, so you don't need any more. You can use it and we read from it, but you no longer use the Active Directory exhaustive methods to keep defining on a weekly basis who can access which database, and maybe this person is moving to another location and a new person is coming, and Velotics keep tracking the access to the data. But as I told you, we are not necessarily dictating or decide on our own, but we use the explainability mode. So for every decision that we take, it's per definition, but almost every decision that we take, we explain why. And it's not so simple because there are many rules and multiple criteria, but we need to try to explain only the relevant and most important reasons. And here we get interactions from the user. So if user agree with us, they can click OK. If not, they can change, and we will learn for the next process. I will skip the workflow. The last one is monitoring and alerting. And in data security platform, it is highly important to detect anomalies and to try to look for misuse or hostile activities within the organization. It's not a cyber solution in the sense that we cannot protect the system from, or your databases from cyber attacks, from vector attacks. If somebody is trying to penetrate from outside, we will not know. But we will know if they try to penetrate as a fake user from the normal system. So the mental model here that is the enemy is already inside. And we are trying to look for anomalies and flag any unusual activities that you see in terms of people or machine accessing to data. Obviously, we provide and I will the next short movie I would like you to see about is actually summarize a little bit the generative AI solutions that we use. A little bit more information about that.
Welcome to the Velotix Data Security Platform. Velotix transforms data security with AI-powered automation and GenAI capabilities. Our platform uses a tiered approach so you can gain control by discovering and visualizing data, unlock power by enabling secure and compliant data access with intelligent recommendations, and automate scale by automatically maintaining an enterprise-level policy database. Your data's journey starts with discovery. Velotix analyzes your databases to locate and classify structured or unstructured data. Velotix automatically tags data types, making it searchable. Easily amend the auto-tagging process to suit your organization's needs by adding a custom auto tag. Now, utilize your classified data. Create a project and select the relevant tables or files for access. Our powerful search engine empowers inquiries across your data infrastructure at a fine-grained level, saving you time from searching through disparate sources. Communicate with Velotix naturally to get answers to even the most complex questions about your data. By simply querying through a chat interface, data owners gain immediate insights into policy conflicts or permission management. Anyone can request access effortlessly, and our configurable workflow handles approvals seamlessly. Velotix GenAI offers precise conversational data access requests for data users, automating the creation and routing of the request. Data approvers receive clear, actionable access recommendations from Velotix, offering a straightforward path to approve or adjust access. Your approver screen displays our AI recommendations. Our AI learns from your approval or denial, improving future requests. Velotix understands that change is an inevitable part of business. Our GenAI is constantly checking for updates in the uploaded policy, ensuring that you don't fall into compliance drift. Velotix screens GDPR and other relevant regulatory laws and interprets them so they can effectively secure your sensitive data. Our platform automatically detects organizational changes, like department transfers or new hires, and proactively adjusts permissions, ensuring continuous and automated monitoring for seamless security compliance. Velotix offers a proactive approach to data security as we continue to monitor and alert you of your anomalies in permissions or policies. Our permission heat map offers visibility into the permission landscape, ensuring access permissions are aligned with usage. Our policy control tower offers a centralized visualization of data protection policies, streamlining the manual and complex process of policy enforcement. Velotix allows you to discover, visualize, and use your data while remaining secure and compliant, enforcing the right policies so you can grant access to the right people in a prompt and secure way. Velotix, unlock the power of your data.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm running through some of the slides. And thank you for listening, and please
Thank you for the great presentation. But one question that I saw it on the video was that you can import the GDPR policy itself and interpret it and assign it to your data. Now, my question is that GDPR is well known over the world, so I think I can understand that. But as part of a higher education, we have FERPA rules, then we have GLBA Act, and all those things. Do we need to do anything extra to basically get this rules into the Velotics and then interpret it and assign it to my data? Because that is one thing that is very manual here, and it becomes very, very difficult to put everything in place, and that takes a long, long time for us.
You're absolutely right. It's not that easy. Even when using the LLM, it's not easy. And to date, I cannot complete the entire process automatically. So the idea will be to start scanning whatever regulation or restriction type you have. At the beginning of the scanning, it will save you maybe 10% or 20%, but with time, and it does not take years. It takes weeks, sometimes even days. And we are working on specific patterns to accelerate the learning process. And there's still at the beginning, we will need a lot of interactions with the user, but every time you interact with the system learns. And you should not ask the same question again as a general method. It's a challenge, as you know, scanning text. I mean, the solution to this challenge will come basically from the regulators, from these parties that release the restriction. We hope that one day, or actually I do not hope because I do it in a special way, but the right way to do it would be that restriction will come out in a well-defined structure that computer can easily read. Right now that there is a disconnection between the regulators or parties or entities that apply restriction and the organizations that needs to embrace them and embed them. It's extensive work. We are on a way to solve it, but as I said, interaction is a must, but it's a learning process.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you, Adi, and thank you, Tamara, for this presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tamara.